What's going on, everyone? My name is Dudo, and I'm the Goalie Gear Snob, and I have a box there and another box down there. Let's open them up and see what's inside. What's going on, everyone? Yes, I have a cool box right there and another box below it, and I got some new gear delivered today, and I want to show you guys what's inside of it. Does anyone have any hints so far? Do you guys want me to rip these open? So this set of gear I have delivering is a stock set of gear, and it is not custom, but it's something that I think that a lot of people would be interested in trying out for a very specific price point. So I'm going to open up this box right here, and we're going to see what's inside. Taking a small little X-Acto knife, I'm just going to trim it open. Got it open here. Let's see what's inside. Oh, would you look at that? It is a brand new GSX blocker. So let's check it out and see what we think of it here when we open it right up. White, silver accents, some black logos, and just to confirm, senior S23 stands for season 23, the senior GSX blocker. So I just opened this up, so now I'm going to put my hand in it and tell you exactly what I think about it. So this wrist does seem a little tight right off the bat. Let's see if I can actually get my whole hand in there. Oh yeah. I'm sure you're asking yourself right now, why am I holding a GSX blocker? And I'm going to tell you why after I open those leg pads. But first impressions, liking how this fits on the hand, extremely comfortable, very soft, nice Nash palm you have right here. Wrist is honestly pretty ridiculously tight. I mean, I like my blockers tight with intermediate palms, but wow, if you're trying this on in the store, I can imagine the thought process. But we're gonna see what it looks like when I open the other box and talk about some more of the gear in there. So let's open it up. So for those of you that have ever been shopping in retail, or those that have ever worked in retail before, when you see these kind of like tan colored boxes and you see this white and red tape that says Cortina on it, there's only one brand that ships in these boxes. So let's open it up and see what's inside. I'm going to put the box down here. I'm going to pull them out. Anyone going to guess what they are yet? Yes, a brand new pair of all white Bauer GSX leg pads in the 2023 version. This is their all white pad. Has some hits of kind of like a charcoal gray with some black accents and black straps on the back. And first overall impressions, pretty decent pad. This pad is going to run you $550 US, and I'm going to explain some really cool features on the inside, and I'm going to show you why I have them in my hands here in a minute. So the reason why I've liked the GSX line is because historically it has come out as a price point specific gear, and it came out inside of senior, intermediate, and junior sizes. I've always worked well in the senior size and a senior small leg pad. I have tried on the intermediate glove and blocker before, but I just prefer the size of the senior glove and blocker. Never really want to get caught using that intermediate gear. But for this gear, it is specifically built for goaltenders that want to get some of the added benefits of the higher level line down to a lower price point. So you're not going to get some of the actual pro materials and other pro designs on the original 2020 GSX, but on the new 2023 GSX, they've taken some top price point features from a $1,700, $1,800 US price pad and put it down in a $550 pad, which for me, and from what I've known in goalie gear, that is huge. That is something that if you want to start to learn the position better, get a better slide, get a better seal, Bauer now offers it. So the GSX line is kind of, it's not really inside of a Vapor or Supreme line. There's added benefits of both. So you're not going to get quite, this isn't exactly a Vapor pad, this is a Supreme pad, this is a Supreme blocker, etc. There's some kind of added features for both, but it's more of a brand agnostic. So GSX is going to last a little bit longer than your Vapor, your Hyperlights, your Supremes, Shadows. But what you're going to start seeing is that just going to be its own kind of existing brand. So I'm going to go over some of the sick features now, and I hope you guys can enjoy that. So when I was at the Bauer convention last year in 2022, out of Bauer World, and when I first heard about this pad, I was really blown away by the added features and benefits that you would be getting in this price point pad. When I first heard about it, I realized it was going to be, a little bit more of a hot seller, and I just knew I had to get my hands on it. So fast forward one whole year, finally have it here in my hands. Also keep in mind, when I saw the gear, it was about 6 months before launch. So these have been out for about maybe 4 to 6 months, depending on the retailer that you've been shopping around. But I started seeing these really start to hit the sites around April, even some towards May and June. But so I got these here. So looking at this GSX pad, what are you getting? Why is it cool? Why should you be shopping it? So the biggest thing you're going to see on this GSX pad here is super clean graphics, super simple. They offer this in an all black with silver accents. I opted for the white because I have a lot of dark colored gear and I want to get back into a lighter or white colored set. And the main reason why I really wanted this is because of this knee block right here. So showing this side right here, this is the Vapor knee block from a 3X Pro and X5 Pro. Even if you want to argue, it could be inside of that Hyperlight, the original Hyperlight pad as well. But to me, it's definitely a little bit softer, so not quite the Hyperlight knee block. But what you're getting here is this one-piece knee block that wraps internally. And why do I care about this knee block? I care about it because of the performance benefits you're getting. So when it comes to how the pad is created, I'm holding the entire pad by the knee block right now. As I'm twisting, shifting, moving this around, you can see how there's not a lot of negative torque that you're going to be getting on the pad. Like, I'm really trying to bend this out of the way. And why this knee block is cool is because it gives you that extra sliding, the better seal, better comfort. This one-piece knee block is what you're going to start seeing become almost standard across a lot of pads. This connection point to the inside pad from the knee block is what really helps the stability and the seal. So you're going to see a lot of companies start to care about this. And I think by Bauer putting this in a $550 US pad, it's incredible. So give me 1 second. I'm going to move this box out of the way so Rex stops eating it. So I move the box out of the way and Rex is no longer eating it, but he's just excited about the GSX pads as I am. I want to talk about the knee and calf plate here now. So the knee and the calf of this pad is really what's going to help that slide and that stability. So like I already talked about, having this one-piece knee block wrapped to the inside edge of the pad is huge. I think it's crazy that they're putting it in this lower level pad, but it seems it's going to be super comfortable, super plush. And I'm going to try it on in a minute and give you my other thoughts on that as well. But when I go down to the calf, you're going to get more of that CORTech material that was found on, way back in the S29s, even moving into the 3Xs, the M5s. Really that middle price point Bauer pad, that like $800-ish pad, that's the knee and calf that you're getting on here, knocked down to that $500 pad. So it's really comfortable. When you press into it, it feels soft, but I know that there's not a lot of give that you're getting here, so it's going to give you that stability and support you're looking for. And overall, I just think it's an incredible design on the senior price point pad. And yes, this is carried down into intermediate and junior as well. So this GSX line, my guess is going to help you play the position a little bit better. So we'll see. But now I want to talk about some other features on the leg channel as well. Again, this is a senior price point pad. I know what a lot of people are saying that I've had custom for a really long time, but when I was working in retail, the biggest thing I cared about was getting a pad that you pull it out of the box and it gives you a lot of added benefits and features that requires very little modification. I'm almost a huge fan of just picking it up off the rack and going and using it right on the ice. I know I do like to mod things a lot, but when it comes to that retail aspect of what a customer should want when they grab something off the shelf, I want them to be able to use it immediately, and that's what this pad allows here. So when we flip it around to the back half, I've already unvelcroed this and moved it down to the calf. You can get that difference. Hey, Rex is eating the box again. Now that we're looking at the leg channel of the pad here, you're getting a lot of cool added benefits and features. So the first one being that this knee wing is entirely removable. So if you wanted to hang up off the side here, go Vasilevsky style and have this pop up here so pucks can try to hit it and get a few extra little saves out of it, you can leave that on here. If you want to entirely remove it, it is removable here as well. So it's a pretty cool design that the Velcro that's on top is just more of the soft Velcro. So you're getting a full connection point, which I think is pretty cool. Again, I like to strap it down to the calf, but that's just an example of what you can do here. Looking at the outer calf wrap, you have that same vapor strap that comes across. It was on the Ultrasonics, some of the other Supremes as well. Bauer's kind of been known for this reverse calf strap here, but I'm going to undo it and move it out of the way here just so we can take a look at the rest of the pad. And this is what you're going to get off the original. I think this was off the Vapor and even some of the 3Xs. You're getting this internal Y strap right here. I am not a huge fan of this one. I don't really like it as much. So honestly, I'm probably going to be doing some modding and tinkering so I can take this off and put in my inside Supreme ultrasonic style upper calf strap. I just really prefer that for the fit and feel of the pad. So that's the one mod I'll probably be doing to this set here. But in terms of the overall rest of the pad, this butterfly assist pillow is entirely removable, but I would definitely suggest keeping it in there so it raises up the calf on the inside of the pad and give you a little bit more support towards the knee stack here. This external strap is pretty easy to pull over and close, so I really like that. And then the final piece you're getting down here are these bungee toe ties. I'm not going to say anything else on them because these are going to be coming off immediately, and I'm going to be putting skate laces on there. Sorry, Mr. Bauer, just don't want to use pads with bungees on them. Just my preference. While making fun of the bungee toe ties here, I did just want to point out that there is no boot strap slot here. So on other model pads, usually they'll have the tabs kind of tucked in here, or they'll have some strategic cuts on the inside here so you can run the straps through. You're not getting that on the GSX pad. So if you want a boot strap on the GSX pads, you're gonna have to do some more modifications to get one added on here. But stock, they do not have one. I don't necessarily mind that because I do not use a boot strap, but just wanted to point that out here. So I just put these pads on and I dropped down on them here inside the room, and man, I'm impressed. The knee block is exactly what I was picturing. It gives you that harder design where when you drop down, you're not getting a lot of negative flex on the knee blocks. You're getting a good solid seal. You feel the butterfly assist pillow underneath the leg. Very comfortable to wear, very lightweight, good amount of flex to them. I can definitely tell this is kind of between a Vapor and a Supreme build, where it has a little bit of a flatter boot like a Vapor, a little bit of a thinner outer core like a Vapor, but just the overall shape and design feels a little bit more Supreme to me. But I'm really liking this feel here. I'm really liking this design here. And for a pad that is $550 US in all white with some You know, you're not getting any white nylon on the back, you're getting black straps. You get a nice little slick pro design here. I think it's a great looking pad. I also did just want to point out that yes, I did post a video on my channel a little bit ago about how Ilya Sorokin was wearing a GSX inspired graphic. And for those that do not believe me, go take a look at that video and check it out here. Bauer can DigiPrint anything they want. They can put historical graphics, they can put newer graphics, they can do a lot of different things. So yes, Sorokin was wearing a GSX inspired graphic. Yes, he's still wearing pretty much a stock 2S Pro built pad. I know it says mock, I know it says other things on it, but if you're a real goalie gear snob, you know what those goalies are wearing. He's wearing a 2S Pro built pad, that GSX inspired graphic. We'll see if he sticks with it for the season. I know I've already talked a little bit about the blocker and I have just talked about the pads, but talking more about the actual specs of the blocker, to me, even though the GSX block is supposed to be, the GSX line is supposed to be more agnostic and it's not gonna match either a Supreme or a Vapor, this is definitely a Supreme blocker to me. You can tell by this super short range of motion cuff you have right here. You have the Supreme shaped sidewall as well here. And honestly, when I put this on, it's extremely comfortable. I really like how it feels. It is very tight on the hand to get it in, but once your hand is in there, it's feeling really comfortable. I have no complaints on this blocker. I'm not expecting super hard rebounds to be shooting off here like Bauer blockers have historically had, but for a senior price point, I'm expecting a little bit of movement to come off of this. I'm not expecting it to come through and break the hand and feel it. I really do trust this blocker, so I'm going to take it out on the ice and see how it really performs. But overall first impressions, I'm really happy with this one. So while I do have the blocker and the pads here, I opted to not get a GSX glove. And I know that some people, they really want to shop that price point glove. But for me personally, I've always had a lot of hand injuries. This tendon is actually not really moving well in my hand anymore. It's surgically attached through the back of my fingernail bed. So I need that extra bit of protection to really cover my hand. So I have that Vapor 90, I have that white and black one. I think the colors are going to be looking pretty good on the ice. I've always kind of been a fan of an ever so slightly mismatching glove or a slightly different branded glove. So I think the look is going to look pretty solid here, especially with having that silver logo and the silver hits. So I'm going to take these out on the ice now and I'm going to give some, Rex is trying to get in the box. I'm going to give some honest feedback on this gear and I'm going to show you guys what I really think about them and hopefully they work out pretty well. So let's check them out. Now that I've gotten a chance to use the Bauer GSX pads and blocker out on the ice, you can see I made a few saves with it over there and got a few puck marks here, got a few more on the other, but I'll show you the clean one here anyway. But I just want to talk about some cool features and let you know if I'd recommend them. And long story short, absolutely. For the price of this pad and the price of that blocker and the performance you get out of it, this might be the best value pad I've tried. I've used a lot of senior level gear before. I know I've used a lot of pro and custom gear as well, but I've always had this love and look for senior level gear that will help you play just like the pro level guys that are on a budget. And looking at this pad here and that blocker, I'm super happy with it and super happy with how everything started to work. So let's get into some of the sick features that I noticed out on the ice. Starting off with the knee block of the pad, this is the StabiliFlex knee block, which is pretty much what you're going to find in the 3X and the X5 Pro pad. I mean, you literally can't beat that. In a $550 US priced pad, you get that good of a knee block and a slide, and I noticed it immediately. The biggest difference is the top layer of foam right here. As I pinch into it, it's a little bit softer, a little bit more forgiving than what you would get in an ultrasonic, hyperlight, etc. So when you, or mock, sorry, but when you drop down, you are feeling like you're sliding and getting a little bit softer. So you do kind of notice that in the slide a little bit. So when you drop down, it feels like the knee block, especially when it attaches to the core, ever so slightly softer, that you notice a little bit of a slower slide. But if you've never used a Bauer Pro pad before, and this is your first time in Bauer, you'd have no idea that they're slower. I'm sure this would perform just as fast as you would like it to. But that knee block, that's a story that you have going on there. And I can even hold the pad by the knee block and don't get any negative twisting. I mean, this thing works really well. But when I get into the strapping of the pad, I did a few modifications like I said I was going to. So I added in this Supreme ultrasonic upper strap here. This is actually made by me, made for me by Mike Bruins over at Rebound Athletic Repair. He painstakingly put together some all black straps for me. So Mike, I want to give you a shout and thank you. So I just added them in here. So I sewed in a tiny little piece right here, a little loop, added them in, and then I added the strap. Let's see if I can show you. Added in the strap where the upper internal calf strap would be, and I removed that entire internal calf strap. Didn't really want to have it there, so I'm just using this one right here. But strapping is super easy to adjust, super easy to get on and off. I really liked it. The outer leg channel, it definitely felt a little bit softer than some of the more robust pro pads, but when you look at the overall price of this pad, I'm not expecting it to be super high end, but it feels very much like it, and I liked that soft leg channel here. So very happy with how that came out. The other thing I wanted to note as well is that when I use these out on the ice, I left the outer knee flaps sticking up. They're just kind of getting caught with the pants a little bit too much for me personally, so I just pulled them off. But in those little videos you're going to see splicing up top, you're going to see that little outer flap is sticking over there. But let's talk about some of the other cool features on the pad as well. So something that I didn't necessarily notice when I was holding the pads and initially checking them out, but right where my fingers are sitting right here, you can actually ever so slightly see this indent right here. What that is the core of the pad is thicker here and then it thins out towards the top. And it's not entirely noticeable because you see this part right here, but as my finger starts to slide up, there's definitely a little divot in here. And that reminds me of a PX3 pad from True that actually has the thinner top thigh. And on a $550 pad to have a thinned out thigh rise, like, come on, like that's unreal. So smart that they're doing that, and I really like that. I noticed that the size, the flex was great on these. I was getting some good thigh rise overlap, that little bit of about inch that I like to have. So I really like that, and I noticed it right here. Super clean top bindingless edge of the pad. And speaking of the binding, on the old GSX pad, you didn't actually have a real binding stitch on the bottom. So getting a toe binding on a pad here is absolutely unreal. I mean, great pad. The downside to these is that they're very torsional. So as I twist this pad, you can kind of see how much it starts to move. I know a lot of people like to flex the pads here and try to figure out how soft they are. But this reminds me a lot kind of my V9s that I've used for the last 3 years. So that V9 Pro Carbon has started to break down a little bit. I mean, it did get some Pro rails on the inside, but after that use for 3 years, they start to twist and get a little torsional. So I don't mind having that torsional flex on this pad because I'm kind of used to feeling that and experiencing it. But if you're using a pro level Bauer pad, Hyperlight 2, Mach, ultrasonic, what have you, you're not going to get that torsional flex, but I was noticing it here on the GSX. Speaking of comparing these to a pro pad, you're not quite getting a full hot rebound off the face, but I didn't think that any of the rebounds that were coming off of the thigh or the shin were going into a dead area. They were still getting like 15, 18 feet away from me. So if you look at that, I mean, we're almost talking about to the boards, to the edges of the circles. I mean, rebounds are coming off really well, and I was really happy with that. So overall, extremely happy with this GSX pad. Really like the seal, the comfort, the slide. I mean, even the look, just all white with a little bit of silver, gray leg channel. I mean, like, you can't beat it for the price. So let's talk about the blocker and how I got a lot of puck marks on it. So looking at this blocker here, yes, I made a decent amount of saves on it. Pretty happy with how many guys are shooting towards the blocker side. I did take a few off the inside of the fingers and the side of the thumb here. Not totally sure if that was a save or a goal. I think it actually might have beat me underneath the hand, but pretty happy with how this came out. So If you went back and watched my ultrasonic review, you would hear me say that ultrasonic blockers might be my gold standard when it comes to a blocker performance, durability, you name it. And I really just think Supreme blockers in general, even back to the 1/100, they've been unreal. And so many pro goalies over the last, 10, 12 years since that blocker came out have been using Supreme blockers, even skinned as reflex, even, using some of the other like reactor models. I mean, like, guys loved that Supreme blocker. And I can see why Bauer is still pumping it out and trying to make that GSX level blocker feel like a mock. I mean, this is absolutely unreal. Love this blocker. The fit on the hand was extremely tight, like I was mentioning. After using it that one time, it started to loosen up a little bit. However, I entirely soaked this blocker, and I was demoing it with some sticks that didn't have any grip tape on them, and I was having a tough time holding onto the stick because my hands sweat so much. It might just be a me issue that my hands sweat that much, but I was noticing it like it was like gross. Like every bit of Nash, every bit of the back of the blocker, like it was soaked. Like I was squeezing my hand out and water was dripping out of it. So sounds like it might be a me thing, but it dried pretty well. I was pretty happy with how it came out. I noticed you're getting a little bit of an extra layer of padding here. So it's not just like a double layer of Nash. It's almost like they put some low density foam between the two layers. So on $189 US priced blocker, I mean, you're getting some padding on the hand, which is huge. You're getting this super flexible range of motion cuff, which I've really liked. And you're getting, to me, what feels like a pro level blocker, like minus curve. So if you were using a pro level blocker, maybe even like a Reebok Premier from back in the day, the first CCM E-Flex 1, like this is what I'm being reminded of. Like I'm really sending pucks off, and I was very happy with this because it feels like what a pro level blocker was, maybe 8 years ago. So I know that pro gear has changed a lot over the last little bit, but I mean, this blocker is unreal. Like I was super happy with it. Other than just the fact that my hand was sweating through it and it was so gross. But like, even if I stain this blocker, $200, you can pick up a new one. I mean, this thing will last you quite a bit. I was very happy with that. Just super adjustable on the fingers, super comfortable. Like the palm is broken in, didn't have any issues grabbing the stick or holding on to it. I mean, what else do you need from a blocker? Your hand could get in the right position. Rebounds were coming off hot to the glass. It was working really well. Like I said, just the only downside being how sweaty it was. That just might be a me thing. If your hands don't sweat a lot, you're probably going to be fine. But that was just something that I noticed. But overall, super happy with how this came out. But since it is super tight on my hand, I can't take it off and turn off the camera. So give me a second and we're going to talk about some final thoughts. So when it comes to Bauer's senior level gear, I think it's, unreal. Like I would use the GSX pads and blocker again happily. I would pick them up in that black and silver colorway happily. I think that they just came out incredibly well. I don't have any major complaints on them that would make me not use them again. Would I use them in a professional level setting with some of those pro guys? Maybe, but the fact that I even considered it, that's huge. I'm sure a lot of people are watching this thinking, okay, well, GSX level gear, I'm never going to use that. I wouldn't even use it for an A-League team. I wouldn't even use it for my high level. I wouldn't even use it for my kids' high school team. But I think that this level of protection, the feel, just like that overall, like just how it feels on the body, like it's tougher to explain it, but I mean, like it feels like what a pro pad would have been like 6-8 years ago. I mean, for that price, like that's huge. So I think it's incredibly made well. You're getting a lot of cool additions with that better toe binding, the double palmed blocker. It feels very light on the body, a good slide, getting pretty much a pro level knee block in a $550 pad. I mean, what else do you need? So I'm very happy with how this came out. I'm very happy with the construction. I'm very happy with the performance, and I'm absolutely going to use these again. I'm not going to say they're up there that are, better performing than my Axis 2 or my V9 Pro Carbon set, but it's up there. It's a tight race. And so for paying $550 USD for pads, $189 for a blocker. I mean, that's an incredible price point for gear that I think everyone else should be shopping as well. So with my recommendation, I'd head to your local retailer, pick those up, see what your thoughts are. If you have any kids that are starting to get into play goaltending, or we're kind of in that junior intermediate range, they want some cool custom colors. I mean, this is very pad skin, pad wrappable. You can add in some stripes to it. You could even, if you really wanted to, which I thought about doing, was actually painting those silver stripes with some Angelus paint, just to try to see if it would adhere well, just to try to add in a little bit of color. But I kind of like that white and silver. But it's just something I wanted to bring up, that if you have kids that want to check out this gear, having it available in that smaller size range for them, I mean, to me, it would be a no-brainer. So I would absolutely recommend you check that out. Even if you are the higher level goalie, all the way towards that lower level goalie, I would absolutely recommend you check out this GSX gear. So now that you've heard my thoughts on the GSX gear and you've seen me use the gear out on the ice, I want you guys to comment down below and tell me what you think about the GSX gear. Is this something you'd want to pick up for yourself, for your kids, for someone you coach? I would definitely recommend you do it, but I want to hear from you guys if this is something that you would check out. Also, I want to give a huge shout out to Matt Houk at Empire Toys for getting me the 6th shirt and always taking care of me on some of my helmets. Who knows, you might see another helmet wrap popping up here pretty soon. My name is Chris Dudo, and I am the Goalie Gear Snob. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this video. I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed, and also rang that cute little Liberty bell for some notifications about what I upload to my channel. Please check me out on some of my other social outlets. Are going to be linked down below.